This is my Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3, and initially I wasn't really a big fan of this phone, but as I started to use it more and understand it, I started to come around to it, and I still wouldn't recommend this phone, and I'll get into that in another video, but I really did like this phone for a really specific need that only I have. So I decided that when the new one came out, I'd give it a shot if it made sense, and guess what? It made sense, and I've got the new Galaxy Z Flip 4. Now, it doesn't really offer too many changes, but this time around, I went for the Bespoke version where you can customize the colors and the frame and everything, and I kind of went and decided, I wanted to give it a try, because Samsung has had these special colors and configs that you could have selected, but they usually take 3 to 4 months. This time around, I was like, you know what? Sorry, not 3 to 4 months, 3 to 4 weeks. This time around, I actually had time since everybody had already posted their unboxing video before things even went live. I was just like, you know what? This time around, I'll wait, and I will pick up this one. So I've got the navy black phone, which I'm very interested to see how it looks. So let me go ahead and unbox this phone and see what it's like. So the unboxing experience is very similar from the old to the old Z Flip 3. I don't think the Bespoke has really any difference, except for, I believe, this colorful flip typography. Let me go ahead and open the box. So the box, I have to say, is kind of cheap. If you guys can see, it just kind of is coming down from the top. They don't have an extra piece of tape or something to seal it up from here. You've got the sides. On the bottom, there's 2 stickers, 2 little plastic stickers here to seal it up, but nothing on the top. That would have just been so easy to add one more just so that it would be easier. But gonna go ahead and slice this open. There we go. And let's go ahead and unbox this to check out what the phone is like. So, boom. Wow, okay. So phone up front and center. So on the underside, there is the information packet and I believe the charging cable. So no power brick, even though you spent $1,000, but I guess that is the norm now. SIM card eject tool, quick start guide, and the USB-C to C cable. So that's all you get. No case, no nothing included. Samsung did have a offer where they did provide me a case for free because it was in the pre-order state. So I did get a case. I will be making a video on this later, so be sure to subscribe and stay tuned if you want to see what this case is like. But right in the box, you don't get anything. So if you didn't pre-order and you buy this phone, say a week or 2 from now, you're not going to be able to get that free case. So right off the bat, this blue looks really deep. So from the angle I'm sitting at, I can see a little bit of blue, but I can see from the camera that there isn't really a lot of blue showing up. It just looks black. So let me go ahead and put this box off to the side. And right off the bat, I will tell you, the flattened out sides are feeling really nice. So let me go ahead and open up this plastic, if I can figure it out. Okay, so there's an arrow right there, if you guys can see on camera. Just gotta, I guess, pull it. Comes up like that. Come on. Okay, there we go. Boom. Okay, so there's a better look at that blue color. It's very deep. I really like it. And then, so I did go for the black frame with a blue navy top and bottom. So you could go for a gold frame, a silver frame, or a black one. I went with black because I think that paired the best with the navy blue. There are 5 or 6 color options, if I recall correctly. So right off the bat, I'm noticing that the close is not as smooth as my current Z Flip. My current Z Flip is obviously just because I've been using it for a while. It closes a lot smoother, so the hinge has just gotten a little bit looser. Not a bad thing. It still holds and it doesn't like flop around or anything. But it is smoother, the action of it. So that's interesting to notice. I guess this was the Z Flip 3 must have been the same way when it was new. I just don't remember. I don't have a reference point now. But right off the bat, it looks very similar if you just have them open. The size of it seems to be the exact same except for the straightened out, the flattened out edges. So even this isn't that rounded, but it's just, there is a difference for sure when you look at them side by side. The Z Flip is a little bit just more, oh wow. I think, oh, there's magnets in both of these. So this is just latching on magnetically to the other phone. That's so cool. Okay, all right, stop messing around with this. Let me go ahead and give you guys a look at this phone real quick. And then I will set it up and give you guys my first initial impressions after that. One thing I'm noticing, this is a fingerprint magnet already. I love the matte finish of the Z Flip 3. It was really nice to hold and it didn't smudge at all. It was very easy to use caseless. So this phone, it does have the IMEI stamped here at the bottom. I don't know how well the camera is going to pick that up. The front is very clean. You do have, I think, a bit more of a raised camera. Yeah, 100%. The camera is a little bit more raised. I don't know if the camera, I will try to get a secondary angle of this for you guys, but the camera bump is significantly raised on the Z Flip 4 compared to the 3. The bottom's pretty much the same, USB-C port, charger. Then you've got the speaker grill, you've got 2 microphones. On the side, on the top right, you've got the SIM card tool and the 5G antenna cutout. On the right, you've got the fingerprint scanner and power button and the volume rocker. So a very simple, clean design. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, get this all set up, going to use it for a little bit, and I will come back and give you guys my initial impressions and tell you guys what I think of it, and just if there's any difference. Oh, and before I do that, let's just look at the crease and see if there's any difference in the crease. So definitely I can tell the crease is way less on this. Let me see if the light will pick it up just right. Yeah, so there you guys can see. The crease on this is just significantly more noticeable compared to the 4. So again, I don't know if that's just because of using this for a year, if it's like this, or if something else is up. But I'm excited to get some more time under this phone. So let me go ahead and set this up, and I will be right back with you guys. So I spent the last couple of days testing out and using the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4. I wanted to make this a little bit more of an in-depth and extended initial review, so I didn't really focus on getting this out as soon as possible. So this is the Bespoke edition, as I mentioned earlier, so that does mean I got to choose the color scheme of this phone. And along with the Bespoke edition, you do get some individualistic wallpapers that are special to this phone, but I changed it immediately because they looked horrible. I'll just give you guys a glimpse of what it looks like. But I was not a fan of this stripe design. It didn't really look good, and it didn't do much for me at all. It just looks weird and tacky. So I changed this immediately to a more standard wallpaper, which I think looks pretty damn cool on the Z Flip 4. So let me get into this phone itself. So this phone has a very, very similar design to the Z Flip 3. In fact, if they had them side by side, probably it'd be hard to even tell what's so different about them because they look so different, so similar aside from the color. But when you hold them in hand, it is a night and day difference. I'm not even kidding, guys, night and day. Just the more squared off edges make this feel like a more phone-like. This feels toy-like to me. It always has, and it always did to everybody I gave it to as well. But this feels like a phone, you know, just the more squared off edges and the flatter frame here. It really does make it feel like a normal phone. And even though the screen is the same size and the same ratio, it just feels more usable to me. It feels like a more normal bar style phone. And that's something that I'm actually very happy with. I do wish that the screen would become a little bit wider. I'm just not a fan of how thin the screen is. I would gladly give up some of this length for a little bit more width. Content just looks weird on this big screen. So I do watch a lot of YouTube and videos on my phone, so it's very annoying to watch content on this phone just because of the aspect ratio. But that's something that's been a problem ever since the Flip came out. So not going to hold it against the Z Flip 4 individually. But what else did I notice about this phone? The fingerprint scanner is awesome. It's right in the power button and it is lightning fast. Don't even have to think about it. Just hit the power button quickly and it unlocks. Very, very nice. The display is very identical to the one on the Z Flip 3, so I really didn't notice any differences. Performance is quite good. It really does pick up quick, and I haven't noticed any lags or issues at all. The 120Hz screen definitely does help with making the phone feel very smooth and fresh. I will say this, though. The phone does have a little bit of play in the hinge at the bottom, so right here, it just opens a lot, like it has a little bit more play than I'd like it to have. The Z Flip 3 did not have this. If you guys see, I'm doing the same thing I did with the Flip 4, and it just does not have the same level of play that this has. And it's a little bit concerning. I'm not sure if all Flip 4s have the same kind of hinge play here, or if it's just my unit, but this is definitely a very different experience because once it's click close, it doesn't really have that play that the Flip 3 does. So one of the biggest improvements of this phone, without a question, that if you've used the Z Flip before, you will find is the camera. The camera quality is undoubtedly better. It is just a night and day difference, and it's crazy. Let me just give you guys a look at the front camera. So I'll throw up some photo samples here of the Z Flip 3 and the Z Flip 4 side by side, and you guys can just see front and back camera, night and day difference. It really is a big improvement. I'm very, very happy that they made that, because this was one of the biggest issues I've had with this phone. The camera was just so poor on this. It really, really made it feel like it was a very cheap phone. Honestly, I've used $400, $300 phones with better cameras than the Z Flip 4 had. They cheaped out hard on this, so I'm glad to see an improvement. I will be testing it more, because I'm not sure how it stands up next to something like the S21 or even the Note S22 Ultra. Let's see if this holds its own, or even let's just say an iPhone 13. I will be comparing those very shortly, but I'm interested to see what this phone will be able to do now that the cameras are upgraded. The camera bumps is definitely a little bit more protruding than the last. The last one was almost flat with the surface. I think that you'd be able to see on this camera angle that the camera definitely does protrude a lot more, but honestly I don't mind. Your hand is never really around this area, so you really don't feel that bump. That difference doesn't really matter. When it comes to a table either, it really doesn't flop around too much, because even at the end of the day it is a very minimally protruding bump. But as you guys can see, otherwise just on the surface these phones look very identical. They just don't have a lot of differences. They are very minute and honestly can only be told when you start holding them in hand. The screens are, the experience is pretty much the same. There are a lot of similar issues I have with it. I will say though that, it is nice to see the hinge design kind of get pushed all the way to the end and having more of the color you chose. So this is black, so it doesn't make a difference. So if you had a white or something phone, you would see a very noticeable black edge right here. Whereas with this, you don't really get that. It's a much cleaner design. So I do really like that the Galaxy Z Flip 4 does that. It is a excellent change that I think just really adds to the more clean look of this phone. So overall, what do I think about the Z Flip 4? I think as an upgrade to the Z Flip 3, Samsung has done all the things that they should have. One thing that I will need a little bit more time to properly discover is the battery life. It does seem to be better, but not by a lot. But I will have to do a little bit more testing to give you guys a thorough idea on that. But I think that this is a good upgrade from the Z Flip 3. The Z Flip 4 is something I would recommend if you're looking to get into the flip or the folding phone market. This is the most affordable one. Of course, I'm not going to say cheapest, because $1,000 is not cheap, but if you do want this form factor, $1,000 is the best you're going to get. And this is a very, comparatively to other brands, a polished device. There are a lot of weirdnesses that do come with a flip or a folding phone for the time being, but usability-wise and just durability-wise, I am not really concerned about this phone anymore. I was concerned this being my first foldable, how's it going to fare? But I used this phone without a case pretty much the whole time. I traveled with it. I had it in my pocket. I used it for navigation everywhere. I put it into mounts and stuff for phones, and it didn't break. It's been doing just fine. It works great. Now, will I be? Do I think this will last a long time? Probably not. This will probably break sooner rather than later, but it's not fragile either. It's not going to break in an instant. You don't have to treat it like it's a fragile little baby either. You can use this phone, and that's one thing that the Z Flip is definitely proven to me, is that this form factor doesn't have to be very delicate. So if you're looking to get the Z Flip 4, initial impressions, 2 thumbs up for me. You can definitely go ahead and do it. But if you do want some more information, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more Z Flip 4 content. I'm going to be filming a lot more and doing a few more comparisons and reviews with this phone. So be sure to stay tuned for that. And the best way to do that is, of course, to subscribe to the channel. And if you haven't already, be sure to follow me on social media. I'll have all the handles right here on the screen and, of course, linked down in the description as well. And if you want to check out this phone or any of the equipment I use to film these videos, you can check them out down in the description as well. I have them linked to Amazon, and those links really do help me when you use them, guys. So I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.